Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kaleidoscope of the Arts. I'm Marie LaBrosse,
And I'm Dee Dee Gozion.
and we're your hosts of today. Today is a weird day for us, Dee Dee, because we're pre-recording this on a Sunday, right?
Yeah, extra day.
Extra day here. Dee Dee, what's going on at the Northport Arts Center? Because I haven't been around, so I don't know what's
Oh,
happening. What's going on?
yesterday was so fun. It was Barbara Archer Baldwin's pastel workshop. I was able to attend, and it was lovely. We had a great time. We did a full class, and she taught us a lot of techniques on pastels that I didn't know. I'm not normally a pastelist, but I really enjoyed taking the class and learning things. But coming up, we have a lot of events. We have three receptions in the month of February. The first being the 4th, which will be the next Friday. We have the Peace River Painters Society has a show hanging in the center of our gallery, and it is amazing. And the reception starts at 5:30, and it's here at the Northport Art Center. Then we also have a reception at Welland Park on the 22nd, which is a Tuesday. That starts at 6 o'clock, and that is in honor of our presidents. Karen Fosterio is hanging at Welland Park, and Dar Kramer is hanging at Welland Park. And on the 3D cart is Kay Shuck, who is our instructor for clay on the wheel. Then we also have a reception for our new show, Anything That Flies, and that'll be on the 25th of February. So that's
Anything
what we
that
have going on.
flies.
Lots of parties.
Oh, lots of partying. That's a lot of work. And I just want to recognize actually people that sponsor us. And let's let's acknowledge Wendy Namick. Wendy Namick is our sponsor for Kaleidoscope of the Arts. And her business is Namick Portfolio Investment Professionals LLC. You can go to www.namac.com or give Wendy an email at wendy@namac.com or give her a call at 941. And I'm having to have it scroll across the screen because I don't have that memorized as it's coming through here. It's 941-429-2911. And without sponsors, a lot of our programs we couldn't be. And thank you, Wendy, for always being a supporter.
Yes. Thank you, Wendy.
Dee Dee, no,
Yes.
we have a group with us today that we're really, really pleased to have with us. And they were pretty exciting at our Kaleidoscope of the Arts and intoxicating evening of discovery into the arts of Northport because they brought a lot of livelihood and life to that stage. And we needed that, didn't we?
We sure did. I got to tell you, my mother watched the show, and I just told them that she watched it from her home in California, and they were her favorite group of the whole night. She really loved it, and we really loved it. We were clapping along. It really brought a lot of energy to the room. Thank you.
And they're a foot stomping Americana, Celtic, and they'll do a better job explaining who they are and why they play that genre of music. Let's bring them all up on stage and let me bring up the Kumpfenbergs. Yay! 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 And
Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Marie.
hi,
Hello.
It's
hi, and we have
Kumpfenbergs.
Kumpfenbergs, right?
Yeah, like you were answering the phone. Kumpfenbergs.
Kumpfenbergs, and we'll
That's how
discuss
we
how
got the
you came
name.
up. Yeah, came up with that name because I know Ed, your last name is Kumpf, and Denise is Berg,
Yeah, and
and
that's how we got it.
okay, and Gil, what's your last name?
My last name is Gibbard. And I thought the
Gibbard.
band should be called KGB, but they didn't go for that.
No, I want to go back to the very beginning because Denise, and I'm going to refer to Denise because I know Denise the best out of this whole group. And Denise, just for a lot of people that may recognize her, she is what do they consider you at the Northport?
At the chamber, I'm the office administrator.
Okay, so she's a gal that actually makes everything run smooth. She really does. She makes everything the heartbeat and make it look so easy, Denise. You always make it look so easy. I'm going, oh man, I couldn't do that for a living. I really couldn't because there are so many parts that you have to put together. But enough about that. We're here about the Kumpfenbergs. Kumpfenbergs. I'm from Minnesota and I have an accent problem. Uh, no, you're from out west originally, correct, Denise?
Yes, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, all around the Washington and Oregon.
And you originally started to perform at a very young age.
Well, I had the piano lessons at 4 that were obligatory, and then and then I did started guitar lessons when I was in 4th grade. And as I moved to Spokane, Washington, my father got us into the old time fiddlers up in Spokane, Washington, which is a very strong music group. At the age of 21, I was the advisor for the young performers, which was the gosh, I can't even remember what they were called, but we did a lot of stuff. There's a lot of old time music up in the Pacific Northwest.
And so you did that for quite a few years without
Oh yeah,
adding your life, correct?
yes. And then I moved to Portland, or I moved to Hermiston, Oregon, and voila, that's where I met Gail. We met at a concert in Walla Walla, Washington, where her band with Highland Pipes was performing, and I was in the audience, and we both lived in Hermiston, and the rest is history with us.
And that's so, now that I'm putting it together, how did you guys end up in Florida? And before we even get there, because this seems so strange, you're up in the Pacific Northwest, you're performing. Where did that Ed man come in?
Where does Ed come in? He comes in Colorado. It's a real strange story, is that I was flying from Portland, Oregon to Boston, Massachusetts, and the gentleman sitting on the airplane next to me offered me a job in Boulder, Colorado. And I took it and moved to Colorado. And about 3 years later, I met my husband. I used to put on second Sunday jam sessions at my house in Boulder. And that's where I met my husband. And 6 months after we met, we were married.
Wow.
Wow, this is really interesting. And you met this guy this other man on a plane. What type of job did he offer you?
I was his office. I was his business manager for a image processing systems integration company, anything dealing with high-end images going in and out of high-end computers.
No, where was your background on that?
I was an office manager in nonprofits.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to
I'd
that.
love to have a video of what we talked about on the plane, but I worked for him for 16 years.
Wow.
Wow. So that relationship, just in a conversation on a plane, landed you a job, changed your life, and that's random acts.
Yes, it
You
is.
never know. You never know. And then you met Ed. Now, how old were you when you met Ed? That is a random act, right? Yeah.
Absolutely random.
Wow.
And were you in Colorado by yourself, Denise, when you made that
I
move?
was. Yes, I was, and I got involved with the musicians and the contra dancers in Colorado, and because of that, that's how I met Ed. He played back then. He played hammer, dulcimer, guitar, and a stand-up bass, and I was guitar and fiddle, and then we got married, and then we continued having our second Sunday jams for many years, and we decided that it was too cold in Colorado, and so we moved down to Florida in 2009.
2009.
And then
We got Gail here. She decided to become a snowbird, and when she came back, she started coming down here. We reconnected up, and
No, Gil, you were in the Pacific Northwest also, and you came all the way to Florida?
for me,
Oh,
Well, for the warm weather. Or Hawaii. Or
truth comes out now.
Yeah, I
So,
still live 6 months of the year in Washington State, but been mostly Oregon and Washington, and then 6 months of the year I live here in Sarasota.
Now, okay, now Ed, were
Yeah.
you a Colorado boy to begin with?
No, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. And I
Okay, so
moved to
how did you end
Colorado.
up
I
here?
just packed my bags at 21 and headed out west because that's where I wanted to live my life.
No, I noticed when I did some research on you, Ed, because that's what my job is. Okay. You were like a handyman. You were able to pretty much build everything, it looked like.
I went through a phase of handyman work. I was largely a grocery clerk, mainly a grocery clerk. I worked for Safeways out there for many, many years. That's what paid the bills. And I was able to retire from that at the age of 50 with a full pension. So I did that. And then I started doing some handyman work.
Okay, because I
So
could
then,
find your
then we entered the handyman phase, which led to our selling Amish patio furniture. That was another phase that grew out of that. So you probably found that in my background too. If you
Yes, I did. Yes, I
okay,
did.
those are
And
all fun
so I
times.
found out you were good with your hands, that you were
Yeah.
able to. Yes, you were. You were good with your hands. Now, are you able to make instruments? Are you a luthier?
I'm not that good with my hands. No, I've never been able. I've never had the opportunity to really.
Yeah.
I made furniture. I made outdoor furniture. A lot of
Okay.
picnic tables and big, heavy, custom-made tables and things for outdoors.
Oh, that's good to know. RJ Malloy, the station manager, is a luthier. So in
Is
case
he?
you probably, yeah, in case you ever wanted to dabble in that. And I know Gil, RJ said that you taught RJ a few things.
I taught RJ a few
No,
things.
she
Oh,
said
No,
yeah.
no.
Okay.
Gil, he said, did you help him with bagpipes
Yeah,
and
he
the
wanted to
whistle?
he wanted to play he wanted to play bagpipes, but he didn't know there were so many different kinds. So I showed him a lot of different kinds of bagpipes, trying to steer him to make the right choice, which he didn't. He made his own choice, but eventually he'll come over to my way of bagpipes.
Yeah, well, you know what? They normally do, Gail. They
Yeah.
normally
They're a
do.
hard-headed bunch. Those
Yeah.
They
bagpipes.
are. You have to be pretty odd to be into bagpipes. That's true.
Well, the
Can't
first
be
thing
nice.
I
And
asked
banjo is
them
no
is,
longer odd enough. You go into bagpipes.
no, talking about bagpipes, Gil, do women wear kilts? I don't
Yeah,
know.
in a Highland pipe band, yes. You wear your band uniform, but in Scotland, just the regular people, they wear longer skirts that are pleated skirts, and not kilts. The kilts are shorter, above your knee. And
Yeah.
over there, the women wear like mid calf length,
Okay.
with still a tartan type material, but more sophisticated, more fine quality. Yeah.
No,
But in the
Gil.
bagpipe band, we all wear kilts. Yes.
No, Gil. What type of instruments do you play? And we'll get back to those too.
Oh, me? So I play the tin whistle, and I play like 5 kinds of bagpipes. So I learned Highland bagpipes first and had actual lessons, and then I play Northumbrian small pipes, which are from the northeast corner of England and the borders of Scotland. I play border pipes, which are louder, and they're like bellows blown Highland pipes. I play Uilleann pipes; those are the Irish pipes, and the Scottish small pipes.
No, where do you store all these?
Yeah, I have way too many sets of bagpipes.
Yeah, and then the penny whistle, the whistles. How do you play those? How Because I'm not a musician, so I don't understand some of those things.
Well, so if kids learn to play the recorder in school before they learn band instruments, and a recorder is almost the same as the tin whistle or penny whistle. We say tin whistle because they haven't been a penny for hundreds of years, right? But yeah, usually in school, kids learn the recorder, which is in the key of C, and they're very hard to. You have to really. It's hard to blow them. Anyway, it's harder to play them. The tin whistle is easier to play, and it has a brighter sound, and it's in the key of D usually. But it's kind of like playing the recorder, only easier and more. It sounds more like a real instrument, whereas the recorders are real quiet and kind of for learning.
No, when Denise was talking about learning the piano at 4 years old, you did like this.
Yeah, I
So
started at 7. I learned the piano from 7 to 9, and then I figured I couldn't use I can't read and use one hand doing one thing and the other hand doing something else. I'm not good with the coordination. So then I learned that you can play an instrument that they only have one note at a time instead of 5 or 6. That's way easier to play.
That's what I should have done because I have trouble with the coordination
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with the brain working. Like
That's it. Piano's really hard. It's
That's why I don't play it anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't for years.
I like with the one note at a time. You can't go wrong with that.
right. Now, Ed, when did you start playing?
I bought my first guitar as an 18th birthday present.
Okay, so
I
you
started
were
with
not.
guitar at 18.
So you weren't doing anything at that time beforehand. Were you in chorus or anything?
No, I didn't. I started at 18 on my 18th birthday. I really wanted to jump into music and be a musician all my life. So I said, I got to do this. So I went out and bought myself a guitar and started taking lessons.
My co-host Dee Dee, what is going through your mind as we're sitting here?
I'm fascinated of the fact that they're from all over the United States and they all came together here with us today. That's my most fascinating part is I couldn't believe their story and all the things that they have been through, and they're all still friends and they're all still together here. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah,
The best part is Gail and I traveled through Europe, spent 6 weeks together, and we're still friends.
Yeah.
wow. How old were
Was
you?
that when you were young that you did
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, you were young.
Wow.
Younger than we are now.
How long have you two been friends? How many years? What
Over
age?
30.
Since the
Probably
80s,
45.
1980s.
I think you've been friends about 45 years from,
Yeah.
from what
Close
I've heard.
Oh.
in the 80s.
I was 28 when we met.
Well, don't tell us.
We won't go any further than that.
Not quite 40 yet.
So you've been friends for,
A long time.
ever. And then you brought Ed along, and there's been no fighting over Ed, right?
In what way?
And there was silence there. There was silence, so it kind of makes you wonder. Now I know your son's in the room, and he actually, do you have the one child?
No, we have one together, and the other is my stepson. It's Ed's son. It's our
Okay.
our oldest.
Okay, so how many children altogether
Two
between everybody?
boys.
2 boys. Okay, so and the one boy that's in the room with you, is he's your
He's
son?
my stepson.
Yeah, but he actually is your person that brings in. What do you call those? That brings in and helps you set up. Is
A
he
roadie.
your
A roadie.
roadie? Is he your roadie?
Are you a
I
roadie?
wish he was. If we're lucky,
guess.
he does sound.
If you okay, so let's while we're here laughing and that I'm able to actually bring up on screen, and what I'll end up doing is silencing us in the background so we can hear the music. But because of these wonderful people that came and actually performed for us all this evening, I'm going to play here.
Yes. But
Here's
glad
the
that this lady over here is
introduction.
telling us. She's pulling the strings and she says, this is
Oh.
the final closing.
Oh, you know what?
For
I'm going to
the
stop
option.
that because I didn't
And-
cue it right. We'll get Gil off the screen. Okay. Okay, we'll go there. Yeah, and we should be getting going here. This is from the performance that they did at Kaleidoscope of the Arts, an intoxicating evening of discovery into the arts of Northport on January 15th. I turned off the music because I want you to explain to us what you're playing there for instruments. So, Ed, what do you play?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you play?
What
I
is-
play the keyboard.
okay. And then what are you playing, Denise?
At this current song, I'm playing the fiddle, but I also play the strumstick and lumberjack, guitar, washboard, etc.
Well, I'll skip. That's why I skipped that other one too. And how about you, Gail? What type of instrument is that?
So these are Northumbrian small pipes.
Ooh.
So they're kind of the bagpipe that's from Northern England, and it's a quiet thing that you can play in the house without everybody running away.
Right, and that's kind of a Celtic sound to it, correct?
Yes.
What you're playing in that. So I'm going to turn it back on so we can hear more of it. But I wanted to explain to our audience what they're hearing and what they're seeing right now for instruments playing.
That's our fourth member.
Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, that was no, tell us what was
Ah,
that?
there he is.
There it is. All right. All right. Look at that. No, how what is
That's
yeah,
all right.
what is he called?
It's a lumberjack.
And did Ed make him?
No. I decided I told Ed one day that I wanted to learn how to play drums after going to the rock box. And so suddenly I had at every birthday and Christmas, I would get a new percussion instrument, hence Jack. And Jack has a friend, Mr. Frog, and I also have a washboard. So my percussion instruments, so I don't have to learn how to play drums.
No, how if I was a person who I am, how would are you guys for hire?
Absolutely.
And how
But
would
how
I
would they find us?
How would they find us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Walk out, like
No, I
get
mean-
the bat, like how do they find Batman? Get a spotlight, shine it up in the air. I don't know. No, I do know. Give us a call.
and how would I do that, Ed?
941-429-2463 is my phone number. That's our home number. You can call us at home.
663.
We have
And
business cards. Next Saturday, we're playing at the Mullins Center. This coming Saturday, at Newcomer Day, from about 9:30 to about noon. You can stop by there and hear us and pick up a business card and chat with us. You can find Denise at the Chamber of Commerce, the Northport Chamber.
Well, and that's actually very interesting that you could do that. And in fact, if they want to see you in action, that would be the place to go because they can see. No, let's talk about the different types of music you play. Because can you gear the music toward whatever the person wants within your genre?
To a certain degree, we can. To a certain degree. We know 15 or 20 songs from any one of a half dozen genres. So it depends on how much. If they want 3 hours of the same genre, that might be a bit much. But
Marie, you might want to correct that phone number. Somebody's going to get bad numbers. 2463.
2463. Okay, then I'll have to delete that. 2463. Okay, did I? Yeah. Either that or Ed said it wrong. I'll go back and look. Okay. I'm actually.
Blame it on the computers.
You know what? It's a computer error like a person. Actually, like it comes. Okay, let's try this again. And we'll put it up correctly. Say it again, Ed.
Okay, I'll say it slow. I apologize. 941-429-2463.
Okay, and that way, in case you want to hear more of their music, and let me tell you, they're so energetic and they're so much fun. If you're looking for a fun group to actually energize your whatever you're doing, and do you do backyard parties?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you do parties in the backyard?
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah. And
Sure.
when do you guys practice and where do you practice?
Usually Sundays at 1 at our house.
So we missed our practice today.
Oh no. How often are you out there performing now?
In the last couple of weeks, we've been out a lot, 2 or 3 times. It's been the last couple of years have been pretty tough. We were ready to get started 2 years ago, right when the pandemic hit.
That's been tough on everybody.
Yeah, we were booked to play at the Old World, and they had to cancel us as they did everybody. And things are just starting to get back off the ground again. So that was like a 2-year pause that we had to take there.
And playing at the Kaleidoscope was definitely a wonderful thing for us because it made us focus. And so we figured out how to do 15 minutes of a variety of music in
15 minutes.
15 minutes. And our videotape is exactly 15 minutes of music. So
well, and you were wonderful. We should have actually started the evening off with you, but the symphony asked for that time slot, and you need energy out there when you're doing performances like we had that evening, and everybody got their opportunity to showcase what they had. You guys did a great job showcasing what you had to offer.
I think playing in the middle was very good. Was very lucky for us because I think the alcohol was just starting to kick in.
Yeah, you might the intoxicating evening. It
was an intoxicating evening. And, alcohol plays a role in that. I know that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people didn't understand that we had a lot of performers out in the audience that were performing, and you know how it works. When people perform, then they leave after their performance and stuff, because people said, why is the audience getting so small? That's because they were the performers. About a third of the people out in the audience were performers. So
we appreciate you allowing us to play out there in the breezeway coming in. We really appreciate that.
Well, and I'm sure from what I understand, because I wasn't out there myself, people had a ball out there. They were dancing to your music, and actually, that set the tone when people were walking in. We had the thespians from Northport High School that were dressed as chimney sweeps. And I'd
Right.
like to mention to everybody too, take advantage of a lot of the arts that are within the city of Northport, because Northport High School is doing Mary Poppins. That's April 9th and 10th and 11th, I think, that they're performing that. Um, if you can take the time out of your life, and many of us have that time in our life to go see a live performance, Mary Poppins would be a wonderful one to actually go see. The symphony, the concert band, the chorale all have performances at the Northport High School. And the Kumpfenbergs are going to be at the Northport Newcomers Day at the it's the George Mullen Center next Saturday. What time is that at, Denise? 10 to...
It runs 10 to 12. And
Okay.
we start playing earlier than that because we try to energize all the vendors that are coming in to set up. Plus,
Yeah.
it gives us more time to practice.
And there's a lot of people showing up then too.
Yeah, and they are, and everybody pretty much stops and watches you just for a brief second as they're coming in.
Oh, and then we get the little kids out there and the older people out there dancing. It's actually really fun and wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a great venue for you guys to be performing at. And do you ever get the opportunity to perform at any of the City of Northport things that are coming up?
We're working on it.
Oh, I'll put you in. I'll make it happen for you guys. 'Cause I
Thank
know-
you. Thank you. We
Yeah, I
pester
can-
them every time we see them, especially at
Oh.
Newcomers Day. The last Newcomers Day, we pestered them quite
yeah.
a bit.
Well, we actually at the radio station streamed their Poinsettia Parade, and I helped put that all together for them. So I'll reach out and I'll talk to Laura Ansel, who's in charge of Parks and Rec, because that's who puts together all those
Right,
festivals. And I think that you would be a great added addition to anything that they do out there, that you would really
Well,
energize.
thank you very much.
Yeah,
We appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Okay.
You were asking earlier about some of our music styles. One of the
Yes.
reasons is that with the different instruments is that not only old time, we do a lot of Stephen Foster. We do a lot of children's songs because they work really well with the strumstick and the penny whistle, the tin whistle. And so besides that, and then with the St. Patty's Day coming up, we have a lot of Celtic, Irish, Scottish music that we take and have put together too.
Oh, and that actually would be a great thing for you to perform at for St. Patty's Day, because it's a green beer day, right? Yeah,
Right.
Right.
right,
We
right.
are currently unbooked for St. Patty's Day.
Okay, and St. Patty's Day is on what day of the week?
Thursday.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. We're in.
We got a whole week.
Usually
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
Thursday,
really,
and it's
it doesn't
traditional to
really
go
matter.
Friday, Saturday also. So.
Yeah.
Usually, if
Well,
it's Tuesday or Wednesday,
You
it's
still go
traditional.
Friday, Saturday.
You know, and that's really good to know, because of you being able to play the bagpipe, Gail,
Mhm.
and because of St. Patty's Day, a lot of people put that in perspective, even though that's Irish. The people play bagpipes there too. It's not just Scottish, it's Irish, and
Right.
it's Celtic music. Celtic music is Ireland when we think of it, correct?
Yeah, Ireland, Scotland, and part of France, actually, Breton. But yeah,
Oh,
that's all
okay.
Celtic. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people. No, Dee Dee, as you're sitting there, and I always want to include Dee Dee because I have a tendency to dominate the conversation.
Let's include Dee Dee.
Yeah, let's include Dee Dee there, my co-host there. Dee Dee, when we're looking at music, and our Kaleidoscope of the Arts show includes everything from culinary all the way to performing art to literary and to visual arts and all. What would you suggest to people out there that are looking to get involved in different things and in the arts? Because you mentioned, Denise, the Rock Box. That's a really good venue to go to learn how to play some of these types of music or instruments. Now, Gil, sounds to me like you can teach instruments also.
Me? Yeah, I do. I have actually right now several. I have a 9-year-old piano student that I'm doing by Zoom, my neighbor. And then I work with people on mountain dulcimer, which I've been learning, and I'm doing pretty well with mountain dulcimer, but I've taught lots of bagpipe. Yeah. Lots of
So
people.
how would they get a hold of you if they want to take it?
I'm not, I don't have any connections down here. So I could give my phone number
You
if
can
someone,
call us.
you
Yeah,
can call them. Yeah. Or
Okay,
I can give you my phone number if you
Yeah.
want.
Go ahead,
Okay, my
Gail.
phone number, Gail Gibbard, and it's 503-515-5155. That is a great
I
phone
put-
number.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, I put down 941 to begin with, but I know.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
513.
So I have a group of Northumbrian pipers that I'm their leader, and we're part of the Northumbrian Piping Society in England. And so yeah, we have Northumbrian pipers, and there's a few Uilleann pipers, the Irish pipers. I wouldn't try to teach that. I'm kind of a intermediate beginner on that one. But the Scottish pipes I've been playing for 41 years now. And I had one of the first sets of Scottish small pipes in the United States back in 1980.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been
Wow.
playing them a long time.
So what
And-
do you teach? You teach piano and piping?
No, well, the piano, that's only because he's my neighbor. I'm not a
okay.
good piano player. But no, I would teach, I have no problem teaching. I would teach tin whistle and Scottish pipes and Northumbrian pipes. Yeah, bagpipes.
Okay, bagpipe.
There's
Okay.
not a lot of
I'm
Uilleann
good.
and Irish pipers
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah, I'm putting that up there just so
Okay,
people
great.
have that information out there. And how about Denise and Ed? Do you teach anything?
Not anymore. I haven't for a long time.
Denise works 40 hours a week, so it would be tough for her to teach.
I know. And how about you, Ed? Because you told me
I
you're
could be-
retired.
I could be convinced to do it if somebody. I play the keyboard, so if somebody wanted some advice on keyboard, I would be glad to come talk to them and see where they're at, and if I could help them. See if I could help them.
To put all
Keyboards,
that.
all
Yeah.
different. There's so many different makes of keyboards and all, and they're all a little different. So I'd have to see. There would be some issues there of compatibility. What would I know? I could teach them certainly how to get sound out of it, but I don't know if I could operate their machine very well. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I
Right.
understand that. No, do any of you sing?
Do any would what?
Sing.
Oh, sing.
A little, but not, yeah,
Only
So,
if we have to.
not very well.
Yeah, so
Children's
most of
songs. Children's songs.
None of us are consider ourselves accomplished vocalists.
Yeah,
Let's put
we're
it that
not
way.
good enough to, not good enough to, right.
So
Yeah.
your performances are mainly musical instruments, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We
yes.
do some singing, but if your next question is, would we teach it? No, definitely not. We
Yeah.
definitely don't. We like sing. We can get by with it, but we're not polished in any way.
Okay, so you're not vocalist.
No, we're not
No.
vocalists.
Okay. So if I wanted to see you the next time is this next Saturday. If I wanted to get a hold of you, we can have you get a hold of Ed here at 941-429-2463 at Kumpf, the Kumpfenbergs. And if you want to get a hold of Gail and learn the tin whistle or also the bagpipes, you can call her at 503-515-5155, Gail Gibbard. And I probably killed your last name, Gail. Did I spell it correct?
It's so far away, I can't read that far away.
It's
It's ARD. Yeah, GIDD
okay.
ARD, like in
Okay.
Bard.
Yeah.
The bard.
Yeah.
like a tard. Yeah, like a
Like a
tard.
bard,
Yeah.
So I
And
guess
she
I have
did-
music in my ancestors because
If you're a bard.
they were bards.
okay.
Like
No,
500 years
talking
ago.
about ancestors, let's go to Denise. Denise, was there music all the time in your home?
Yes. Yes. My mom loved to play piano. All of us, both my sisters and I, all had to learn that. And then I eventually moved to guitar, And then I taught my dad how to play guitar. And then from there, once the story of getting into a fiddle was another odd one. I was putting on a fiddle contest in Hermiston, Oregon. And we had a competition that was for a county players. And there were 5 trophies, 5 fiddlers. So the first year, everybody won a trophy. And I went, that's not fair. These guys need to play better. So I learned 3 tunes on my fiddle, a waltz, a hoedown, and a tune of choice. Played one time in front of an audience with an actual guitar player background 3 days before the fiddle contest. When the contest came up, there were 7 of us fiddlers. I tied for 4th place and had to play a 4th song, and I didn't know a 4th song on my fiddle, so that was very challenging. Needless to say, I only came in 5th.
Out of 4.
But that was how I started playing fiddle. It was my mom's fiddle, or her violin, because that's what she started to play when she was a young girl, and I never ever heard her play it, but I acquired it when I told her I wanted to learn how to play fiddle, and so in the last couple of years, my fiddling has definitely grown and expanded, and so it's made it kind of fun. And then one of my other instruments my husband gave me was the Strumstick, which are a 3-stringed instrument. And I have 2 of those, a D and a G, and they've been fun to play because then I can put melody in with chords all at the same time and not have to think about it. And so that's been really fun.
And Gail, how
Mhm.
about you? Were you surrounded by music growing up?
Just we had the piano, but nobody could really play it. Luckily, it was a player piano, so so I learned. It was in my family from the 1920s. It's still at my house. So I learned a lot of 20s and 30s songs. My mother was a really good singer, but otherwise, no. I just really liked it. And one of my brothers plays the saxophone in community bands, and he was really good at the saxophone. So so we played music at home. I played the piano with his saxophone all the time when I was in high school. So nice. I can play a B flat, no other key.
Yeah. Hey, that's better than me. I played drums all my life, all the way through high school. And I was in the marching band and all, but
Yeah.
I sucked. When you're talking about left and right and stuff, I wasn't the best. I really was not good at it. But hey,
Or was it fun?
well, I enjoyed it, but there were so many better people than I was. So, Ed, how about you? No, you didn't pick up the guitar until 18, but was there music around you when you were growing up? Anybody
Oh,
in the family?
absolutely. Yeah, my mom liked Al Jolson a lot, and my dad, he was big on like Count Basie and Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton. He was big on that era jazz, so I heard a lot of that stuff. And then, of course, riding in the cars, going places. There was always the radio, so I heard a lot of Roger Miller, and the rock and roll of the days, and those were my influences.
And you always wanted to be a musician. So
I really took a shine to it when I'd say in my teenage years, when you change a lot, and you develop your adult interests start coming out. You really you develop a passion for things, and I just felt very drawn to music, especially acoustic music. I was getting real tired of rock and roll at the time, and all the electric guitars were pushing all the other sounds out, and I really enjoyed the sound of the acoustic instruments. So I was really drawn to bluegrass. I lived in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati was a big bluegrass town, believe it or not. It's one of the biggest bluegrass towns in the country. And so there was some good bluegrass clubs there, and I started going to those when I was 18, and it kind of blew my mind that there was all this great music there that none of my friends knew about. And so it was pretty exciting to discover all that at 18. And
No,
that was
Dee
when
Dee.
I got my first guitar, and just really was drawn into the world of acoustic music. I spent probably the next 10 or 15 years of my life hardly listening to the radio at all or watching a TV. I just kind of withdrew from the mainstream media and dug into acoustic music and traditional music. I was very drawn to it.
That's really interesting. Now, Dee Dee, you're from Ohio too, correct?
No, actually, I'm from Pennsylvania, but not too far. Yeah, for a very short time, I did live in Ohio for a couple years in Cleveland area, but I lived most of my life out of Pittsburgh.
Now, Ed, when you were talking about the influence of bluegrass music, and I know your style is also Appalachia, that's pretty close. It depends on that with the washboard, and that's considered part of Appalachia type.
Right. Right.
Right.
Cincinnati's right on the outskirts of Appalachia, and the history of the area is just of people coming out of the mountains to work there. There was all kinds of work there, jobs and industry, and they brought a lot of their influences, their musical influences with them, and as you start stepping out and following your own tastes in life, you suddenly realize there was all this music that nobody listened to, but it was incredible music, and it really grabbed you. And Appalachian music is very powerful, much like Scottish and Irish music is, and in the fiddling in it and the banjo playing, but it's very compelling and very powerful stuff. It really pulled me in.
Yeah, I actually love your style of music. In fact, Denise, you probably didn't know that, but you're probably one of my favorite bands around.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, with that, because you're so entertaining and you're so much fun and you're very versatile with the different types of music that you play and the different instruments. Not everybody can do that. Usually, if you go see somebody perform, they're usually stuck with one or two instruments, But Gail, with you being able to play all those different instruments, all those different types of bagpipes, and the whistle, and all the other things that you're able to do, and I'll tell you, Denise, you're entertaining with your little guy. Everybody gets all entertained when you bring out your little guy, your little Jack, to do that. I know that we're Andy, at the end of our show right now. Is there anything you'd like to say to our audience to, encourage them to even go out there and, it's not too late in life to learn an instrument, to actually find a passion that you have of doing something, whether it's like with Dee Dee and those guys, they do visual art. Like me, I do talking art.
And you do it so well.
But everybody has a talent of some sort in their life and a passion, and it's not too late in your life to do it. And we all have to get away from the computers. I find when Ed, you were talking about that, you kind of got away from TV, and that's one of the things up in the Appalachia area, and that they didn't have those luxuries of TVs and different things. So they got together as families and groups and they made music. And that's one of the things that brings us all together. Storytelling and music, and music is storytelling in a lot of different ways. Now, do you write any of your own music?
No, I don't think any of us are big writers. There's plenty around. The music that we like is traditional, so we're happy just playing the traditional music, I guess, is how you would answer that question.
Well, and it's playing the old traditional music. It keeps it alive,
Right.
and so that it doesn't get buried. And a lot of the tunes that we play are tunes that you don't hear a lot, or they're tunes we heard as we were little kids, and you don't sing them anymore, you don't play them anymore. And so it's just keeping the old stuff alive.
And yet, everybody knows the words. A lot of times when you play those tunes, we know the words that go to those tunes, don't we?
Right, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're just tuning in, this is Marie LaBrosse with WKDW 97.5 FM, Real Community Radio out of Northport, Florida. I'm with my host.
Dee Dee Gozion.
Yeah. And we're here with the Kumpfenbergs, Denise Berg, Ed Kumpf, and Gail Gibbard. I have to get that correct. And you can listen to them at the Northport Newcomers Day, yeah, 10 to 12 next Saturday at the George Mullin Center in the city of Northport. And if you're interested in hiring them or getting a hold of them and learning more about their music, get a hold of Ed Kumpf at 941-429-2463, the Kumpfenbergs. And if you're interested in learning how to play a couple of the instruments, let's get a hold of Gail Gibbard at 503-515-5155. Again, that's 503-515-5155. You can learn the tin whistle or the bagpipe from Gail. And how many of us wouldn't like to learn the bagpipe?
Most.
Oh, thank you again for listening to us. Remember, there are choices in life that people can make every day of their life. It is to be kind or not to be kind. Dee Dee, what should we always choose?
Please always choose kindness.
Let's make this world a better place. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. See you again next week on Kaleidoscope of the Arts. And thank you, the Kumpfenbergs, for being
Thank
with us.
you so much
Thank
for
you.
all